Welcome to Not Boring English. Today's story is about Catherine de Medici, a powerful and clever woman in French history, and it is written for CEFR level B1-B2 learners. If the speech feels fast, remember you can slow the playback speed to help your listening and reading. The Queen who wore two countries. The first time Catherine saw the River Loire, she felt both afraid and excited. The river moved slowly under a gray sky, and the tall trees along the bank looked like guards. She was only 14, and she had left warm Florence with its crowded streets and bright colors. Now, she arrived in a very different land, with cold winters and a court full of strangers. The palace was large and noisy. Men and women in heavy clothes spoke in a language that sometimes sounded sharp to her ears. She held her small bag tightly and stepped into a world where every smile could hide a test. At first, Catherine found life at the French court difficult. She had a new name and a new family. She married the king's son, a tall and proud young man named Henry. He was used to hunting and loud feasts. Catherine carried letters from home, recipes for new foods, and a love of art and books. She missed her mother and the city where she had grown up. Yet Catherine learned fast. She watched the court carefully. She listened to small talk and to the arguments of powerful men. She studied French slowly, and she began to understand how people moved in the rooms and how power worked in secret corners. As the years passed, Catherine became more than a young wife. She became a mother, and then she was the queen when her husband became king. Yet the crown brought danger as well as power. France was not peaceful. Two groups, the Catholics and the Protestants, argued about religion. Those arguments turned into fights. Houses burned. People were afraid to walk the streets at night. Catherine saw towns broken by hate. She did not like war. She did not trust easy promises. She had seen how small things, a missed word, a forgotten gift, could become big problems in a court. Now she saw how words about faith could ignite entire cities. Catherine tried to use what she knew to protect her children and her country. She invited artists, cooks, and gardeners from Italy. She loved music and theater, and she turned the palace gardens into a place of wonder. She organized festivals that mixed French and Italian styles. In these events, people from different places danced together and watched plays. For a time, music and art softened the court. People laughed and noticed new clothes and new food. This cultural exchange helped some people relax and remember other pleasures besides fights. But art would not solve every problem. The political leaders were strong and proud. They wanted control. Catherine made friends and enemies. She learned to act quickly and to keep her plans private. She watched how other rulers used favors and marriage to build power. She arranged marriages for her children to find allies. Sometimes These matches created peace, and sometimes they created new problems. Catherine often found herself making hard choices. She stayed awake at night, worried about which move would keep her son safe and keep the kingdom together. One night, the court prepared for a big celebration. The streets smelled of bread and roasted meat. Torches lit the faces of people who wanted to enjoy the show and forget their worries. Catherine planned a ball where nobles from different sides would meet. She hoped the music and the dancing would calm angry hearts. Yet danger hid beneath the laughter. Rumors moved faster than the music. A small event, a cruel joke at dinner, became the reason for anger the next morning. Words turned into plans, and leaders moved soldiers in the night. When violence began, Catherine had to act. She had power because her son was king, but she had not wanted blood. She sent messages and ordered guards to protect certain people. Still, in many places, the fighting spread. Catherine felt heavy guilt. She realized that using power to stop a fight was not the same as preventing the fight. She had tried to balance many forces, but some anger was too large. After the worst nights, she walked alone in the gardens and listened to the water fall from a fountain. The quiet sound reminded her of Florence, but it could not bring back the lost peace. Years passed. Catherine grew older and wiser. She learned that a leader must be honest about limits. She tried new ways to help heal the country. She supported schools and hospitals, and she gave money to artists who painted peaceful scenes. She wanted people to remember beauty and knowledge, not only war and fears. She also worked for agreements. She used her skill at talking to move people toward treaties and short truces. These steps were small, but they mattered. They bought time for new ideas to grow. One afternoon, her youngest son asked her why she had chosen to remain so involved in politics after so many dangerous years. He expected to hear a speech about power. Catherine looked at the gardens and then answered simply, "I want France to be safe for you and for every child," she said. "But I also learned that to keep a country safe, you must give people reasons to love it. Food, songs, books. These things hold people together when words fail." In the later years of her life, Catherine focused more on culture and care. She brought artists together to teach young people. She opened libraries and supported doctors who could help the poor. These acts did not erase the past, but they changed small corners of life. People who had only known fear began to learn skills, to plant gardens, and to enjoy music. The court still had danger, but a new generation grew with different memories. When Catherine's life ended, people remembered her in many ways. Some thought of her as a strong ruler who used clever plans to keep her family alive. Others remembered the sorrow and the nights of fighting. Yet many also spoke of the festivals and gardens she had loved, the books she had saved, and the recipes she had brought from Italy. She had been a woman who wore both her Italian past and her French present. In the end, her story taught a simple lesson. Power can protect, but it cannot build love. It is the small, steady things, teaching, creating, caring, that help people heal and live together. The moral of Catherine's story is not that one person can change the whole world at once. It is that a person who mixes strength with culture and care can create space for peace. Even after hard years, there is room to plant new seeds. Comprehension. Questions now. I will ask a few questions about the story to check your understanding. 1. Where did Catherine come from? And where did she move to when she married? 2. What 2 things did Catherine use to try to help her country besides politics? 3. What is the main lesson or moral of Catherine's story? Thank you for listening to this story on Not Boring English. Please write your answers and thoughts in the comments, and remember to subscribe for more stories that help your English and your listening. See you next time.